All right, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Carl Sickendick. I am talking here today about cyber careers for military spouses. This is a topic I'm passionate about because I'm an active duty lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force. I have been for about 17 years now. I'm married to a wonderful woman, Sarah, massage therapist, artist, currently staying at home taking care of the kids, but she's going to get back out in that workforce someday. I've been near cyber operations for most of my career, though, and I find it truly interesting and inspiring, and find it to be great work. And I think it can be a great career opportunity for military spouses as well. Currently, I'm commanding the 90th Cyber Operations Squadron down in San Antonio, Texas, where we create cyber operations tools. In actuality, what we do is we write software that helps the nation's cyber operators, the nation's hackers, do their job and do their job every day. So we're a team of programmers, both enlisted members, officers, active duty officers, and enlisted members, and government civilians primarily, working with a small team of contractors to do that development work. It's one of the it's an awesome cyber career. It's a difficult one to get into, but cyber careers really span the gamut from that type of software development work to cyber operations in the military to incident response, responding to maybe a hospital that's been under a ransomware attack, or sales, business operations and management. Cyber careers really span a huge gamut of skill sets, things that are good for different personalities, and education requirements. So I'm also speaking here not just as a passionate person about cyber careers, but as a NIST NICE Cybersecurity Career Ambassador. So NIST is the National Institute of Standards and Technology. They're a United States government agency that sets and recommends standards for the United States that often get adopted across the world. One of those standards that they've set is the Cybersecurity Career Framework. We'll talk about that here in just a little bit, but it's a document, it's a framework that helps align different career types with specific job positions, with the knowledges and the skills and the requirements for those jobs. Knowledge, skills, and abilities required for those jobs. And that framework allows companies and government agencies to speak with a common tongue to people searching for jobs and to cyber educators. To help evangelize and spread the word about cyber careers, they created the Cybersecurity Career Ambassador Program, and we're a group of people that are totally volunteers that are going out and talking about cyber careers. This is actually the last day of Cybersecurity Career Week in 2024, and I'm hosting this event in concert with that as part of that Cyber Career Week. And so I'm here totally as a volunteer, as a private citizen, as someone passionate about cyber careers, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent the views of the DoD or the United States government. So what am I going to be talking about today? I've explained it a little bit, but I'm going to be covering cyber careers, what's out there, what are the possibilities. I'm going to be talking about how to prepare for a career, and for one of those careers, and how you might train for it. And then I'll be talking about the military spouse benefits that might help you get into those careers. So as we go, I'm not going to be able to see the comments on YouTube. This is kind of a one-way medium. I plan to spend some time and look back at the end, and if I get a chance throughout, I'll look for any kind of comments and questions in the chat. But please stick them there, and I will get to them if you've got any. Let's get started. So first of all, cyber careers. What's out there? What's available? There's a lot, and like I said, there's a wide gamut of possibilities out there in the workforce. That NICE framework breaks it down into several workforce categories, and you can see them all here: oversight and governance, design and development, implementation and operation of cyber architectures, protection and defense of computers and networks, investigation for cybercrimes, for instance, cyberspace intelligence, and cyberspace effects. Those two are commonly associated with the government, but a lot of jobs are available in the private sector for those as well. Associated with each of those work role categories is a common work role, is a set of work roles. Some common ones are shown on the left side of your screen there. Program management, secure software development, each of these is paired up with the work role category on the right side. And I've linked on each of these a video about those work roles. We're going to see the asterisk ones here in just a second, but there are many more videos linked from the website on the bottom of the screen. So we'll look at that here. If you want to find these links after the presentation, I've included the location, the URL to these slides in both the chat and in the description of this video. So let's go ahead and look at some of these work role videos. First of all, let me show you this site here. So the NICE framework work role videos, this webpage was produced during a former Cyber Career Week by NIST's NICE program. And you can see it lists each of the different work role areas in the framework and some common jobs associated with each of those. And each of these jobs has a link to a video that talks about the job or tries to advertise for positions. And so this website alone is a great source of information about what types of jobs are available in the workforce, and then more links to videos that'll tell you a lot more information. So I highly recommend checking that out for different things that are available. But let's dive in and let's actually look at one of these here.
My name is Eve Anderson. I'm a technical program manager.
My name is Omi Yamu.
My name is Sam Cowley. I am a TPM, a technical program manager.
A TPM figures out how to build a product.
My name is Zuri Kemp. I'm a program manager. I like to summarize my role as I organize, I anticipate, and I mitigate.
What I really do is work with so many people towards one concrete goal.
I am definitely mostly talking with people, yes. I'm a big talker.
On a day-to-day basis, it means that I work with software engineering teams, also with educational teams to create content to educate Google's engineers.
Being a TPM, you're always trying to bring teams together, and it gets a little bit tricky at Google because people have their own ideas and own opinions.
You need to be eloquent, you need to be nice. Secret weapon.
The type of people who become TPMs are the type that say, okay, tell me more. Let's figure this out.
Almost everything we do is a collaboration. And I feel like that makes stronger products, and it helps us put ourselves in the shoes of our users.
Everyone is hardworking, driven, very, very smart.
We cover the gamut, from optics to mechanics to electronics to interfacing with cars, to human interactions.
Just seeing the impact that we have on people and how it improves their lives. This is the best part of my job.
So we can't afford to get things wrong. And whenever we get it right,
It's spectacular.
we feel like butterflies.
So, program manager, very generic type of a job that's available in many fields, but it's also, there are a lot of companies that are looking for program managers specifically for cybersecurity reasons. So Google, only one example of many. We'll look at where some of those jobs might be here on the next slide. But program management, clearly a role that requires a lot of human interaction, that requires leadership, that requires taking initiative. You can see why it's paired up with the oversight and governance work role category more broadly. It doesn't, those program management roles, they don't always require experience in cybersecurity. They require that ability to talk with people, to use logic, to leverage your experts, because no nobody is going to know everything that they need to know. That's why we hire brilliant people in this field. Let's look at another video here for cybercrime investigation paired up with the investigation work role.
Worst fruits for your waistline.
And we got to start off with an advertisement, sorry.
Banana.
What is a cybercrime investigator? A cybercrime investigator is concerned with gathering evidence that can be used in the prosecution of internet-based criminal activity. Visit our website pacta.com. We work at the intersection of computing and law enforcement. A computer crime investigator investigates a number of crimes. The demand for cybercrime investigators has increased due to the amount of criminal activity on the internet.
Always got to wear a hoodie.
Cybercrime investigators play a critical role in finding cyber criminals. Analyzing computer systems. Copyright infringement. Internet fraud. Gathering computer and network information. Recovering emails and deleted passwords. Have a look at our comprehensive online support on pacta.com website. The cybercrime investigator takes the lead for investigating frauds and cyber attacks by criminals. Cybercrime investigators need to be familiar with the internal workings of computers and software that runs on them. Citizens are targeted by identity thieves. We gather the information necessary to stop cybercriminals from continuing their activities. Cybercrime describes crimes directed at computers, data or information communications technologies, and crimes committed by people using computers. You need cybercrime investigations? Visit pacta.com website and contact us.
Okay, so I can't speak to pacta.com, but each of these videos linked on here is directly from this NIST.gov NICE framework work role video website. It's a great way to learn about some of the different careers that are available out there. Some of the careers that are available out there in the public and in the private sector as well. So we've seen a little bit about what careers are available, and I've given you a resource to find out more about what those careers are. But I want to also give you this one here to show you about some of what's where those careers are available. So this cyberseek.org is a resource that was funded by the NIST NICE program as well, and it shows you what type of jobs are available across the United States and how many. So this heat map here is darker based on the number of jobs openings that were listed from about mid 2023 to mid 2024. So actually pretty recent data listed on here, and it seems to get updated every couple of months. But I'm located here in Texas, in San Antonio, so I'm going to click on Texas there, and let's look at what we see. We see that the supply to demand ratio overall is there's only 83% of the people available to fill the jobs required. That means that there are a lot of jobs that are not being filled. That means that this is nationally, this is a tight market. The cybersecurity labor market is tight. There are not enough people working for all the jobs that are available. And Texas, the story is about the same. We've only got about 85% of the people for the jobs that are available. And that's partly why we're doing things like Cybersecurity Career Week to spread the word about these great jobs. And you'll see in a second they're great jobs and they're great paying as well. So in Texas, in this period, let's see, September 23 to August 24, there were 36,873 job openings listed. There's a total workforce here of 103,750. And you can see, if you scroll down on this heat map, you can see in what areas, what framework category those jobs are. So oversight and governance, that's that program management role, that's company leadership, that's management type jobs. 25,177, a lot of jobs available in that area. And again, this jobs provide leadership, management, direction, and advocacy so the organization may effectively manage cybersecurity related risks to the enterprise and conduct cybersecurity work. The next largest area, at least in Texas, but this is pretty common nationwide, is implementation and operation. And these are the folks building out and administering and running the networks and the security systems day to day in companies and in the public sector and ensuring their security. Design and development is the next big one, and this is a group of folks that designs cyber systems, so networks or cloud systems or software, and other options as well. But 18,612 of those jobs exist in Texas. Not all jobs that were advertised and open in that 1 year period. Actually, this is listed as job openings. So this is between May 23 and April 24. That's why the numbers are different from above. And then cyberspace effects, intelligence. These are more commonly associated with the government, but there are also many jobs in the private sector in these two areas. And investigation, that's cybercrime investigation. So you can gain a lot of knowledge from this map. If you're a military spouse and occasionally you've got to move around the country because the military orders your spouse to, then you can see what's available, where you're at, and where you're headed pretty easily. Another very helpful piece of information on this website is this certification holders and openings requesting certification field down here. Certification holders, what we're looking at right now, shows you how many people in this job market in Texas have a Sec Plus certification, Security Plus certification. You can see it's the most common. We'll talk about certifications in a minute, but Sec Plus is kind of the most common entry-level basic certification that you can achieve. It's great. It gives you a base level knowledge. It proves that you have a base level knowledge by gaining that Sec Plus, but it's just kind of the initial step for your education potentially. Another extremely common one is CISP. However, a lot of work is required to gain a CISP. A lot of experience. And you have to be working in a cybersecurity job and leverage some of that experience to achieve the CISP. Some of these other ones here that are common, GIAC. This is kind of a middle of the road. You've got to have some knowledge and experience to get some that GIAC, but you can do it without necessarily having job experience if you've gained experience in some other way. If we click over on openings requesting certification, we can see that CISP is the most commonly requested one for job openings. The folks that have a CISP have some amount of experience in this field. There aren't enough people in the field, so you can see why a lot of jobs would be requesting that CISP certification. Easier to find are folks that only have a Sec Plus. So this can give you an idea of what types of certifications are common, what kind will help you along your way, and then what are required for the jobs that you might be interested in applying for. All right, let's move back to the slides. Great. So, can I just present from this slide? Nope. It's disappointing. Another great place, a great place to actually look for jobs is usajobs.gov, which is linked on this slide. This is where most federal jobs, U.S. government federal jobs, are posted, and it's fairly easy to search. Jobs are not posted there for too long of a time often. These are proving me wrong, but a lot of the jobs that I'm used to are open for this kind of period down here, a 2-week period. So if you're interested in these jobs, I recommend checking usajobs.gov periodically, but then more frequently as you're getting close to the time when you've actually got to begin applying for a job. Some of these government jobs take a long time to apply for and then be selected for and get your starting and begin with them. So look as soon as possible, as soon as you know that you're going to be moving to a spot if you're moving around as a military spouse. But I've taken some of the information from one of these jobs and pasted it there on the right side, specifically that Internal Revenue Service, Information Technology Specialist, 9-month roster, direct hire position. It's a government service 7 to 14 pay scale job, and that means that they can hire you at any level in there from GS7 to 14, and as you gain experience in that job, you can go up in pay scale. In pay. I pulled this from San Antonio, a search of the San Antonio area. If I remember correctly, some of these jobs allow for remote work, and so that's especially flexible if you've got to move around. But let's look at this information on the right side. So for that GS7 job, to be eligible at that grade level, you've got to have 1 year of specialized experience, equivalent to GS5. And so GS7 is kind of entry level. GS5 is even more entry level in federal service. And some of what might demonstrate that experience is listed there. Or you've got to have 1 full academic year of graduate education. And then it goes into a little bit more detail. Or you can have a combination of experience and education adding up to that 1 year. It's tough to see written down that a GS7 entry-level job requires a graduate education. Often people come in with the experience instead of the graduate level education into these jobs. But that graduate education, that baseline of it, that's post-college, that's post-bachelor's degree education. That can allow you to quickly move up the scale as you get experience in these jobs. Okay, so just another clip from usajobs.gov. I pulled this from the National Capital Region, the DC area. You can see 3 different Department of Homeland Security listings on here, and that second one there, Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, is what I've pulled from and pasted here on the right side. DHS and CISA in specific is looking at the cybersecurity of our nation's critical infrastructure. So water, power, gas, banking, a number of other different areas, manufacturing, that are critical to our way of life and to just continuing to exist, continuing to be safe, go to work and be productive. So DHS and CISA are specifically looking at those critical things for our everyday life. And you can see duties there. The CISA is the nation's risk advisor, working with partners to defend against today's threats and collaborating with industry to build a more secure and resilient infrastructure for the future. This agency, if you applied for this job, would be advising agency leadership and senior management. You would develop plans for conduct and support of cyber operations, collaborating with other planners. You'd incorporate cyber operations into crisis action planning into organizational objectives. You'd tailor operational plans to the capabilities of organizations. You'd use intelligence reports, analysis, and assessment tools to plan, execute, and assess operations. So you're in this second job, you're going to help plan people from DHS and CISA going out, looking at different water sector organizations and helping them improve their security, or going out and helping improve the security of power plants or banking sector folks. So, a people type job, an integration, a planning type job with knowledge required of cybersecurity as well. You can see this is a GS 9 through 12 position, so it's not exactly entry level, but not too complicated. If you're familiar with the military, GS 9, 9 and 10 and 11 is maybe commensurate with lieutenant or a little bit below, and then 12 is kind of commensurate with a lieutenant, 13 roughly commensurate with a captain, 14 major and lieutenant colonel, and then 15 is lieutenant colonel and colonel. So you can if you're familiar with that pay scale, you can kind of understand this GS pay scale a little bit better. But just talking about how DHS and CISA are great careers leads me to my next point, that some of the benefits of these cyber careers are that they're extremely impactful. Our drinking water is something that we just take for granted. You know, you wake up, you put some water in your coffee pot, you make coffee, you drink it, you expect that water is safe to drink, is healthy. You give it to your kids, you assume that they're not going to get sick because of it. You assume that it's going to help our teeth not have categories. You assume that it's safe to wash your cuts with it. We rely on it every day in our home. We rely on it in our businesses. We rely on it when we're at the hospital. It's critical, and it's so dependent on cybersecurity to maintain that safety and reliability of the water system. So I pulled a little article. It's not hard to find articles like these. America's drinking water is facing attack, with links back to China, Russia, and Iran. And some of this speaks to the Volt Typhoon things that were released early this year. If you haven't heard of Volt Typhoon, you can Google that. It's been attributed by the United States government back to China, where we found them attacking our critical infrastructure, like water and power and all these things, and not actively degrading it or causing problems, but implanting computer logic, computer programs that will enable that in the future potentially. Our systems are under attack. Our water systems are under attack day to day. And what's scary specifically about water, and why you can be really impactful there, is not just that water is critical and we assume it'll work. It's that most of the time across the United States, water is managed by a county or a city company that is really limited to just that geographic area. That means that there are thousands of different water providers across the United States, and each of them has got to do cybersecurity in their own way. And you might think, like, what's required for water? Why do we need cyber there to open valves? You know, you can just twist it and let the water go through the filtering system, and then a pump, you just turn that on. It doesn't need to be connected to the internet. We're doing a lot of other stuff with water, right? We're adding chemicals to ensure that it's clean. We're monitoring it remotely. We're collecting information about who is using the water so that we can bill them. You're exactly right. These systems don't need to be connected to the internet, but the systems that we put together often accidentally end up being connected to the internet, or they end up being connected to the internet by somebody who's not thinking about the cybersecurity effects. So you or your spouse, if you get a career in cybersecurity, you can help inject that knowledge into your local community potentially, and improve the reliability of our water and make it more resilient to attack by foreign actors that may be interested in doing us harm, or at least being able to do us harm. Excuse me. So if that sounds challenging to you, it is. Chinese, Russian, Iranian, North Korean terrorist actors, or just hacktivists, or just the teenager in the basement, they're all talented. And the nation states have essentially unlimited resources to go after these things. They can spend a lot of time being creative about how to abuse our cybersecurity issues. So it's extremely challenging. And that attack on Colonial Pipeline back in May 2021 really revealed that and made it clear. That attack, if you are not familiar, you can Google it after this, but it captured headlines across the world. You know, there was gas and oil supplies disrupted across the east coast of the United States for over a month, if I remember correctly. And that was a cyber attack that led to that. And Colonial Pipeline is a company with a lot of resources. They're much more resourced than a local water municipality. They've got cybersecurity experts that are working to prevent them from being attacked even before May 2021, but still foreign actors were able to attack them. And if you imagine the problem of a pipeline, this is something stretched out across the East Coast. That's got monitoring stations that are radioing back information about the pressure in the line, so that they can detect leaks, they can detect problems, and they can bill customers, they can monitor transfers and all that work. Excuse me. When that is spread out over such a large area, the problem of cybersecurity really compounds, and it is truly challenging to solve some of these issues. But you can see CISA was involved in helping recover from that part of DHS. It seems like a truly excellent place to work. And these jobs are in demand. So if it wasn't clear from my water example, there are tons of cybersecurity jobs across the country. These are spread out. Hospitals also have some critical cybersecurity issues right now with ransomware attacks going against them and essentially shutting them down until they either pay or kick out the attackers and reconstitute their hospital infrastructure. There are thousands of hospitals across the nation. Each of them requires cybersecurity experts. And when you go to the hospital and the hospital is essentially shut down by a cyber attack, you will know the horror of not being able to rely on something that is as critical as healthcare. So there's a lot of benefits to cyber careers. There's a lot of them out there. There are many in your area, wherever that area is, and there are many wherever you are transferred to in the military, if you're a member or a spouse. But how can you prepare for that career? How can you train up? So I'm going to take us back to that heat map website, a slightly different piece of it. Again, this tool was funded by a grant from the NIST NICE program. But over here on the career pathway side, you can see a number of roles listed: entry level, mid-level, and advanced level. You can see some education and skills that can feed into these entry-level positions. But using these, you can click through and understand more about each of these roles. So cybersecurity specialist, for instance, it can lead into analyst, consultant, or penetration and vulnerability tester. This is not an exhaustive list of these types of jobs. These are just some examples. But if you come down here, you can see cybersecurity specialist. It rates as one of the lower paying jobs at $88,000 per year. That's pretty all right pay. You can see that some of the skills requested are threat hunting, understanding risk management and the risk management framework. You can see some common job titles listed here. You can see the education that's requested by jobs, by positions in cybersecurity specialist, sub-bachelor's, just associates or less, high school education, bachelor's degree, and graduate degrees. You can see the number of job openings that exist across the country from the period, for the 12-month period, over 6,000. And you can see the certifications that are commonly requested for those jobs. So cybersecurity specialist commonly feeds into some of these mid-level roles, and when you get experienced at that entry level and the mid-level, you can move on to some in the advanced level. So cybersecurity engineer, for instance, this is one of the higher paying positions at $143,000, $144 per year. One second. I'm sorry, my daughter's trying to break into the room. And the education, again, is kind of all over the map. You can see some of the different jobs listed here. Containers, that's for like cloud deployed security and software containerization, like Docker containers. Container security, so a very specific skill set. Another skill, cloud security. Cloud security is an extremely broad field these days, but something that's requested there. Software security, and then software application as a service security. So cybersecurity engineer is an extremely broad career field with a lot of possibility in there. You can see some of the certifications that are requested there. 41,000 job openings in this field across that time. So an extremely broad career that's well paying at that point. A lot of possibility in growing up to that cybersecurity engineer level job. Aside from the roles, this website also provides information about the skills and certifications required for these jobs. If we click on Sec Plus here, we can see that, or if we just mouse over it, we can see that Sec Plus feeds into almost all of the different job titles and roles that are available, except for Cybersecurity Manager. That's going to require some people management.
What?
Hey, Georgia.
What are you doing here?
Georgia, I need you to leave, please.
Okay.
Please get out. Go on, go. Sorry about that. Sec Plus feeds into each of these different job roles. It's, again, kind of the common baseline job. CISP is that much more specific and difficult role, a certification to achieve, and you can see it only feeds the advanced level jobs and one of the mid-level ones there. Engineer then requires, again, that advanced level career, a number of different skills, or can benefit from a number of those different skills, whereas something like manager requires management skills. It can be fed by different certifications, but it only requires comparatively few different skills for that. That's a people, that's a management type of an assignment. So I don't want to have to present. Can I present just from this slide? Excellent. Okay, so that tool is an excellent one to learn more about the different roles and certifications that feed into roles, and I highly recommend it. But if you're looking in general for how to get educated for these different options, I really recommend starting with free online courses. There's a lot of free online courses out there on Coursera and Udemy. And if you've got one of these jobs that you're passionate in, you can find a course related to that can get you some experience with the skills required for that job and with doing the work. So taking one of those online courses, learning about it, and then getting some hands-on doing the work, either technical, the highly technical work, or program management work, or whatever it is, can really help you understand if you're interested and passionate about this career. Once you do some of those courses and you know which direction you kind of want to go for a career, then you can take some of the online certifications that are available. Some of those are free, some of those require payment to universities, but some of those can then lead into university degree programs or certifications and boot camps and things like that. But that's a cheap way to get started and to move on. And once you really know which way you're going and you're really interested in a cyber career, you can start to get some of those kind of standard certifications. Sec Plus, again, is one of the base level ones. It's something that you can study for using free online courses, or that you can take a boot camp for and go from little cyber knowledge to a Sec Plus certification in a comparatively little amount of time. Some of those other certifications you can achieve similarly, but most of them, like GIAC and the others, require some base knowledge before you might want to take a boot camp or something. Boot camps can be expensive, but they can quickly get you all the skills you need. A caution there, again, if you don't have the prerequisites for the boot camp, you're not going to get much out of the boot camp. You're going to feel lost and discouraged and like you wasted your money. So make sure that you've got the prerequisites for whatever boot camp you're looking into if you go that route. Then there's also associate's, bachelor's, and master's degree programs that can get you the experience and the knowledge and the degree pedigree that you require to get into some of these jobs. So this on the left side there, what I've listed: online courses, certifications, and then education programs. That's a great way to progress through your education. And it's really, I wrote that down in that specific order to help you avoid wasting your time and money on something that you might not be interested in or that might not be for you. So just a quick look. I captured an image from Coursera. On the left side there, you can see they've got a number of different programs that are available for free, from a couple from Google, one from IBM, one from University of Maryland College Park. But some of the basics for cybersecurity and cybersecurity analyst and things, courses that are free that'll walk you through what's required there. And if you haven't used one of these online sources, they're excellent. And then an example, not trying to specifically advertise Western Governors University or anything, but they do have a great military spouse scholarship program. They've got a lot of benefits for active duty military members. And some of the Western Governors University cyber programs are good starting points for building upon for good cybersecurity careers. I've got a couple friends and coworkers that are working through their programs right now, and they find it to be excellent. And then I've got some friends that are working through a number of other universities as well. A popular one is Georgia Institute of Technology, Georgia Tech, Georgia Tech's degree programs. It seems like Western Governors has got some of the more entry-level type, more starting level type career degree programs, and Georgia Tech has got some of the more difficult, more technical ones. So what benefits are available for military spouses specifically? There's a lot. I'm going to bust out here and link you to some of those. Most of the links on this slide are from Military OneSource. That used to be a .com, now it's a .mil official military website. And so this first one here is CISA's website. Again, they've got specific veteran and military spouse employment opportunities. And so they've got a specific recruiting system for military spouses down here. They've got a military spouse forum where they help to work. And then they've also got flexibility for employment location. My impression of CISA right now is that they're a truly excellent employer. And so that's why I've linked there. And they've got this specific military spouse program, which is excellent. There's also some information here on Military OneSource about the Military Spouse Preference Program. And this is a program where some federal government jobs will give specific preference to military spouses. So make it easier for military spouses to join and be selected there. That's called the Priority Placement Program. And it's not all jobs, but you can find some of them by searching these websites down here on Military OneSource. There's also a couple scholarship programs described on Military OneSource. The Miss Patty Shinseki program is specifically for Army spouses, and there's also the National Military Family Association Scholarship, which is for all military spouses and family members more broadly. If you've got the post 9/11 GI Bill available because your service member has got it and has not used it yet, then it can be transferred to a spouse or a child, any dependent, is my understanding. There's some caveats there. you've got to do that transfer before the member separates from the military in order for it to be transferred. And doing the transfer incurs an active duty service commitment of a few years. So I recommend transferring it as soon as, if the service member does not plan to use the post 9/11 GI Bill, then I recommend transferring it as soon as it makes sense to a dependent, like a spouse, or if you've got children, to a child. After it's transferred off of the member, it can be transferred again even after they've separated without incurring that active duty service commitment again. But you just got to get it off the member before they separate, and a few years before they separate. There's also some information about spouse education and career opportunities programs, but a specific one that's really nice is this Udemy online courses program. There's a membership that you can leverage if you find some of those Udemy courses that aren't free, but they're really interesting for the specific career and education that you're interested in. You can probably use this to get access to it. And there's some other benefits in here as well that can be beneficial. So check it out. That's on Udemy, which is a great online course provider. And this last one I've separated off a little bit: professional license transfers. So there was a law created recently, the 2018 NDAA, which allows service branches to reimburse some cost for relicensure and recertification for families. This is a great program, and it's very helpful for spouses and members as you move around, because some careers require you to be licensed by the state and meet specific requirements, and transferring can incur costs. That is generally not the case with cybersecurity careers, so that's why I separated it down a little bit. Excellent program, maybe not as important for cyber careers, because I haven't run into cyber careers that are licensed. They do require certifications, but those work worldwide. Achieving the certification is something that you've done instead of something that you've worked with the state. And so it's just, I don't know of any instance where that license transfer is required for a cyber career, but if you run into those, I just want to make sure that everyone knows that program exists. It's truly excellent. So this brings us to the conclusion. We've talked about what kind of jobs are out there in cyber, where they're at, where you can find more information about the jobs that are available and their locations. I've talked about how to train yourself up, how you can get started in cyber careers and going down that path. And I've talked about some of the benefits specific to military spouses and where you can find more information on that. Again, the links to this slide program that has all those links and information, it's posted in the chat, and it's posted in the description of this video on YouTube. If you've got any questions, I would be happy to answer them. If you reach out to me at my personal or professional email address there, or I don't have too many viewers, but if you are live and you post it in the chat, I'll stick around for a few more minutes and answer those questions. But thanks for viewing. Appreciate your time.